Inspiration for zines comes from the funniest places. This zine is living proof of it. Hey everyone, it is Tom. It is a special Phoenix spotlight in anticipation of Saturday, November 1st's Seattle Short Run Comics Festival at the Seattle Design Center. And I am going to be there with this gentleman, Steve Willis. And we are going to have a whole lot of fun. Also, Bruce Crislip, Steve's partner in crime on so many things. He's going to be there as well. The two of them are going to be doing a panel together, which will be a lot of fun. But the reason I'm doing a new release / Phoenix production spotlight video is that we have a new zine. Totally unexpected, totally unplanned. The whole purpose of going out to Short Run is to celebrate the Collected Cranium Frenzy, of which Volume 4 will officially be released, as well as, if he can pull it out, the Collected Cranium Frenzy Reader. And I only have a draft on hand, but this is The Tragedy of Morty, Prince of Denmark. All three of those books are going to be released at Short Run on the 1st of November. But then there's this little fourth thing that came up. Steve sent me some pictures, this one being among them, of a trip that he made just in the last week or two out to the ocean. I believe it was Westport, Washington. He put in there a Morty comic. Now, we all know what Morty Comix are. They are solo, individual pieces of original art. They are pieces that Steve will hide in places. Sometimes he'll put them in obvious places, like the McCleary Washington Post Office on their bulletin board. Sometimes he stuffs them into little holes here and there, and people pull them out, and it's the joy of discovery. He'll stuff them into restaurant menus, and he'll do all sorts of things. He also puts them in the mail. And in the Collected Cranium Frenzy by Steve Willis, in the back, we have a sampling of Morty Comix. So these are some of the things that he has done that he sends out to his friends, along with his Cranium Frenzies, his Jam Comics, and the like. He'll send these things out, and these are originals. Well, I mean, these are obviously copies of the originals, but I've got the originals right over there. I'm sharing these ones with you guys in the reader. So that's really cool. But then he sends me this picture, and he sends me Morty Comix, number 12,715, October 15th of 25. And he made his Morty comic out of seaweed, some seashells, and the like. And I was like, temporary Morty Comix, what a neat idea. Well, then Steve gets into stuff that Steve does. And he has a weblog, mortyblog.blogspot.com, where he, for a number of years, categorized every possible thing that he's done as it relates to Morty Comix, to his cartooning career, just goes on and on and on. It is the most massive blog I have ever seen, but he's cataloged all this stuff. He's chronicled all this stuff. And so then he starts sending me, after he sent me 12,715, he sent me all of these links to temporary Morty comics that he's done over the years. And it hit me that most people probably have not seen these things. And so if you are a Steve Willis completist, it might not be a bad idea to collect all of these photos and put them into a zine. So that's what we did. With the Tide, a collection of temporary Morty comics. Again, expertly printed by my local copy shop. Rick over there just crushes it every time for me. He's got one of the best printers I've ever seen. He uses a wonderful 28-pound hammer mill paper. It's got just a touch of gloss to it, but not overly glossy. The blacks are great. He does professional cutting, and so I don't have to worry about the thing looking all jagged and messy. I mean, this is as great as it comes. So here's With the Tide, and we start back at Morty Comix 2418, drawn in the sand. And I like to try to do a close-up if I could, and kind of a landscape type shot if I could. I also put a link in to the mortyblog.blogspot.com entry where I pulled his text. This is stuff he wrote for the images that you see. Everything is available on these pages, or on these weblog pages. So we've got Morty Comix. Now we have 2438 done on a piece of drift log, or driftwood. He calls it a sea serpent log. Clamshells in a stick, 2439. So these are temporary. They come and go with the tide. Yeah, for example, 2587 here was drawn into the beach at Mo Clips, Washington. The tide came in too fast for me and washed away the first attempt before I could record it. Then he goes from his beach art to shower steam on a mirror, 2471, in a tiny trailer he stayed in at the Southwester, Seaview, Washington. This is the same trailer, but in this case, condensation on the window. So of course he had to throw a Morty comic in. And we go back to the beach, 2473. He did it there. 2502, lightly slushy snow. So that's melted away long since. Morty Comix on his hand, 2526. And there's a really interesting little story here to that one. I'm not going to read it to you, but it's great. 2585 was lit on fire, and the photograph recording the event was posted on the bulletin board. 2667 on an Etch-a-Sketch in a barber shop. And of course, sidewalk chalk. But it has to be special SpongeBob SquarePants chalk, 2671. And then, of course, it rained away. So when the rain returns after a dry summer, we mossbacks are happy. He is a mossback. So then I put a little bit in here. I guess you can't call it an introduction because it's not. It's in the back, but it's a little comment for me. And then picture of Steve at the beach having just finished his Morty comic. This is, I believe, a 28-page mini comic. It will be available through the Ko-Fi shop. Eventually, I'll put it out on the Gumroad store, but right now I'm just trying to get ready for short run, so Gumroad is next up on my list of stuff to do. But this will be available at short run. I've got a whole bunch of them to make. Folks, let me know what you think. Have you tried to do any temporary comics like this? And have you cataloged them like Steve has? Let me know what you think about this one too. Leave a comment if you're so inclined. Don't forget also, like the video, subscribe to FANzine Live, and tell your friends, because we talk about zines of all types. Cartoons, photos of cartoons. We do it all, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody who's interested in this type of stuff gets a chance to see it. Thank you so much for watching. This is Tom. This is FANzine Live. These are temporary Morty comics here on the Phoenix Spotlight. I will catch you next time.